On my second run through Dead Cells, I made it to the last level and was pretty sure I had it figured out. 63 runs later, when I finally took down the boss and stepped into the post-game replay, I'm 100% sure I'm just now starting to understand the deep nuances of Motion Twin's incredible action platformer. Dead Cells is a triumph of shockingly good game design, the ever-changing guts of its beautifully illustrated levels, a staggering array of game-changing weapons and gadgets, and its breakneck motion fuse into an engrossing loop. It's so engaging that even after dozens of hours crawling through its island fortress, I'm still discovering and devouring new morsels. Dead Cells is a game of layers of risk and reward. At its shallowest, you're a decapitated prisoner, reanimated to run through a dozen levels that are gorgeously detailed, even though they're procedurally generated, only to die and use what you've learned and collected to get a little farther the next time. The placement and order of its levels are Dead Cells' skeletal frame, but the ever-changing layouts and enemy and item placements are the blood that pumps through its heart. It's what makes every run different enough to be consistently tense and surprising. Like being trapped in some kind of gothic horror Groundhog's Day, you'll scrape together money, blueprints for new items, and cells you can spend to unlock blueprints and buffs for future use. Each small bit of persistent power you pick up propels you forward like a bloody snowball careening down a mountain until you feel unstoppable. Momentum is where Dead Cells really shines. Its slick system of running, jumping, dodging, and pounding through these dungeons feels so good that the desire to move and attack quickly overrides a lot of the caution that comes with a game where death sends you back to the beginning. Motion Twin's subtle design pushes you forward through ingenious touches. You're rewarded for multi-kills with a speed burst. You don't take damage when touching enemies just for being hit by attacks, and that grants a sense of safety even in the presence of the diverse and deadly foes. There's a sense that if you're wily enough, move fast enough, and jump precisely enough, you're untouchable. Though this blazing speed is where I've seen occasional frame rate dips across every platform, but most frequently on the Nintendo Switch. Movement and combat are exciting and freeing and drive Dead Cells' ubiquitous sense of putting it all on the line to get a little farther. It's meant to be played and replayed dozens of times, unlocking another small but significant and reinvigorating fragment of the broad skill set with each new artifact you earn. Once you've unlocked all the clever Metroidvania-style abilities, you're eventually able to move unrestricted through its darkest recesses to find its skimpy but fun bits of story and gaming references in cleverly hidden secret areas. The real diversity in each run comes from an excellent set of choices in how you want the second-to-second gameplay to work. Perhaps you'll blitzkrieg through with speed and fire and sword. You'll be rewarded for your reckless pace with access to the locking gates that only open if you reach them before their timers expire. Or maybe you'll go through it methodically, using ranged weapons, traps, and turrets to safely pierce, poison, burn, or butcher enemies and thoroughly explore every inch of each level for treasure. And you'll be stronger for it. And though I've found some strategies and playstyles to be better for me than others, there are no sure bets because you'll never have the same experience twice. Your starting weapons, the items you pick up, and their modifiers are always different. It keeps you improvising. The overarching layer to that strategic variety is knowing you can't always go for the throat. My first 10 runs in Dead Cells were all aimed directly at the final boss. But I quickly realized spending over an hour to get there only to immediately die because I hadn't properly prepared was a waste of effort. So, some runs I would focus on harvesting cells to unlock more items and buffs. Others I would try to extract blueprints until I finally felt ready for the battle. I won't spoil what comes after that, but it's certainly given me some new options for my next runs. Dead Cells is rewarding in its flexibility in a way few games are. Each easily digestible run through its beautifully detailed and shifting levels instills a feeling of discovery and familiarity. It goads you to push the limits of your ability and mercilessly crushes you when you get too comfortable. There are layers of strategy and tactics buried not only in the immediate choices you make, but in the grander metagame each run builds toward. Dead Cells is a triumphant union of instinct and forethought, dynamic and bespoke, and fun and failure. For more reviews, you can check out our thoughts on Flipping Death and Overcooked 2 right now. And for everything else, you're already in the right place, right here on IGN.